Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Red Dead Redemption 2 is 5 years old. It's been a pretty important game for me the last 5 years. Between story mode and online, I've put about 2,500 hours between PC and PlayStation. In today's video, we're going to answer the question, has Red Dead Redemption 2 aged well? Technology and gamers' expectations change over time. Let me know in the comments if you think Red Dead Redemption 2 has aged well 5 years later, because I'm going to tell you what I think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop it a like. If you're new to the channel and dig the content, make sure to subscribe. First, let's talk about the visuals. The graphics are probably one thing that holds up the strongest. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a beautiful game made with love, money, and mandatory overtime. It is stunning from the sunsets and sunrises to the amazing views in Valentine. At the time, probably the most visually stunning game, and probably still the one with the most realism in wildlife and the world. But if we take a look at Cyberpunk on PC in 2023, it's doing things that no Rockstar title has done yet, with insane lighting, ray tracing, and path tracing. Or more recently, the technology behind Spider-Man 2. It doesn't mean that Red Dead Redemption 2 looks bad by any stretch of the imagination, it's just aging with dignity. Let's talk about gunplay. Although satisfying, it is very limited compared to modern titles and even some older titles. The notion of slow motion / Deadeye isn't really a new thing anymore. And one of Rockstar's previous titles, Max Payne 3, actually did it better in my opinion. For example, it would be amazing if my cowboy could do a cool slow motion dive and shoot like they could in Max Payne 3, or even go prone and shoot on the ground. One other thing that ages the gunplay in Red Dead Redemption 2 is a hardware limitation. With most modern titles on PlayStation taking advantage of the adaptive triggers, that would be a welcome addition to Red Dead Redemption 2. Overall, the gunplay is good, but you can tell that it is 5 years old. The next one is support. Red Dead Redemption 2 has received very little support in terms of its single-player mode upon release, even with glaring problems like Epilogue John Marston. It's almost enough to take me out of immersion when I'm playing as Scarther Morgan. 5 years later, and we still have nothing that looks like John Marston in either Red Dead Redemption 1 or the prior chapters in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you look at Spider-Man 2, they are changing a flag that was incorrect, and they're doing that pretty quickly. Rockstar has not really touched its story mode of the game since release. If we take a look at Red Dead Online, the world hasn't been meaningfully expanded in well over 2 years and probably won't be ever again. Overall, the lack of support hasn't done the game any favors. Let's talk about storytelling. The overall story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is ageless. It's great. It's the overall execution of the story that is getting dated. The aging with the storytelling shows when Red Dead Redemption 2 has 2 different endings with 2 slight variations to each. They both have the same outcome. You can basically only play it 2 ways, good Arthur or bad Arthur, with a little bit of wiggle room at different ways to approach various missions. As longtime viewer Charles Boots pointed out, imagine a Red Dead Redemption 2 that allowed you to let Micah hang in Strawberry, but it set off a chain reaction that got all the gang members except those that appeared in Red Dead Redemption 1 killed. You'd have to deal with the consequences of that, or let you play the game with Sadie or Charles as your main character if Arthur died, or let you play as Dutch in the epilogue even. That is the type of storytelling and unparalleled freedom that I'm hoping we'll see in the next GTA game or next Red Dead game. We can see that expanded level of choice in newer games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield to a lesser extent. RDR2 is an amazing story set in an open world, but with perspective 5 years later, it can almost be considered a linear story that you can do at your own pace, but your overall actions won't really impact the game that much, outside of good and bad. I think it's fair to say that 5 years later, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an absolute classic, and will be played for generations to come, just like its predecessor. And overall, it gets me more excited for the future of video gaming. Criticisms aside, it has aged very well, as it's just going to get better and better. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.